Hello, good evening. Welcome to Capital Market, a recap of the activities of Nigerian Stock Exchange for the week. I'm Chimeze Obi Iwago. Well, we'll begin with the trading figures. And of course, it was just a 4-day trading week this week as the federal government declared Friday, April the 18th as public holidays to mark Good Friday celebration. Meanwhile, a turnover of 1.5 billion shares worth 14.3 billion naira in 17,704 deals were traded. Now, the NSE All-Share Index and market capitalization appreciated by 0.58% and 2.98% to close on Thursday at 39,311.60 and 12.9 trillion naira each. Now, 31 equities appreciated in prices during the week, lower than 33 of the preceding week. 42 equities depreciated in prices, higher than 36 equities of the preceding week, while 125 equities remained unchanged. Well, a lot of companies actually posted their results during the week. We saw companies such as UBA, Fidelity Bank, and of course Guaranty Trust Bank, and quite a host of them actually brought in their first quarter results to the Nigerian Stock Exchange. And we'll be looking at some of those figures. And of course, Seplat eventually was listed included on the listing of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, and that was on Monday of this week. And that equity, of course, gained for the week. Well, we'll talk more on some of those figures, and I have here my regular market analyst, Abel Ezekiel. Good evening, Mr. Ezekiel.
Thank you. Good evening.
Happy Easter to you.
Same to you.
Well, we can see it's not just us celebrating the Easter. Yeah. Of course, most businesses are on holiday for the Easter break. Well, let's look at what happened during the 4-day trading this week at the exchange. We saw the all-share index appreciating by 0.58% at 39,311.60. So, what factors drove that sentiment for this week?
Yes, it's against the backdrop of some results that came up within the week, as you rightly pointed out. Majorly, Fort Oil result was fantastic, from a kind of a profit of about 533 million to about 1.1 billion, which is about 107% increase in their earnings for that first quarter. So, which actually drove the price from about 107 to, as we speak, about 148 naira, And then the Seplat you mentioned, that too came in. It appreciated within the week. It gained almost 90 naira within the first 3 days. It was listed for 576 naira, and it closed about 666 naira, 75 kobo. In fact, it peaked at 700 naira on Thursday before it reversed back to the closing price for the day or for the previous day. So, and they listed about 543 million shares of Seplat, which is about 26.4% of their capitalization. Yeah. So all these factors actually assisted. And going to some of the results that you mentioned, these are the time that we'll start assessing the impact of the CRR, because we've said it before. The announcement came in January, and then the bank had their full year at that point in time. In fact, we were expecting their full year earning. Yeah. So it is now that we'll be seeing the impact of that pronouncement or policy as it relates with their earnings and their result. So first quarter will be a kind of initial stage through which we'll be using to assess their result.
Right, we can see some of those banks like UBA and Fidelity Bank.
Bank was bad. Yeah. Was bad. Badly hit. UBA was affected, but in between, because the effect may not be the same from bank to bank, depending on how they be able to manage their resources very well. If you notice within the week, Stanbic IBTC result was fantastic. About 3.5 billion to about 6.8 billion, which was a kind of a return of about 83%. As we speak, it is an exception. And honestly, if you assess the bank very well, you know that as we speak, it should not be a surprise to keen, observer and analyst.
Why do you say so?
Yes, why I say so, first of all, they did a share reconstruction about last year. They did a reconstruction, they reduced their share capital, but significantly, they have a lot of core operation unit. Their stockbroking firm is one of the most active. In fact, their stockbroking firm is, if not number one or number two, as we speak, as per activity on the floor of stock exchange, because about 10 stockbroking firms is actually accounting for about 61% of activity on that capital market, and their stockbroking firm, IBTC, Stanbic IBTC stockbroking is one of them, and the pension, they have a pension, a very vibrant pension, Stanbic IBTC pension, which account for close to 40% of total pension asset and that you have in the pension industry or pension market. So when you now aggregate the performance of some of all these key sectors, they have asset management as well that is doing very well. If you add it together, definitely it will add to the bottom line. It will add to the bottom line of the parent company, which is the bank that we speak. So all these other ones are just subsidiary of the bank. So that add value, as far as I know, to what we have.
So what the results they had.
Yes,
Yeah, what about Guarantee Trust Bank? Their results also seem interesting too.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's not too fantastic, though they didn't drop as bad as Fidelity or UBA, but at least it's almost flat. It's almost about 1 or 2% different from what we are. So these are, the period that we'll start seeing, how the effect of that policy on those banks. And that's why investors are now moving away from some of all these things. They are moving to maybe industrial goods and consumer goods and industrial goods as we speak. And if you see what affected the performance of most of this equity for the first quarter, you find out that all the low cap stock or penny stock, investors are moving away to highly capitalized securities. And that's why you find out that some companies like Dangote Cement, they were not, the volatility is so low as we speak. Effort oil volatility is so low. 7-Up is very low. What's it called? JSK, the volatility is low. These are highly capitalized securities. So that is the direction that investors are looking. As though we still have cautious trading, weak investment appetite as we speak, but as it stands, investors are still trading cautiously. Now,
Seplat, with the performance we saw this week, it was listed on Monday, and we saw some fantastic, performance there.
Yeah.
Do you think that's going to continue? Do you think that stock would still sustain whatever attraction investors have?
In fact, if you see when they were doing the book building for Seplat, the assessment, the analysis, what they put there was they are targeting high net worth investors.
Okay.
So, and that is even definitely going to be the direction, because if you are not high net worth, I don't see why you'll be able to put about 600 naira for a unit of a stock if you are not, very, very highly capitalized. And when you have high net worth investors as major shareholder of a company, they rarely sell. They are not pressed for cash and the rest of them. But beyond that, what we actually, to really come to what we have just asked, what will make the company to sustain that, that price performance? The investors are they are rational, human beings as well. So if the results at the end of the day, maybe by the time they send their first quarter results to the market, or second quarter, or even the full year ending, because those are the long-term issue that we'll start addressing as time goes on. It have been listed, fine. They have met up with all the requirements, they meet up with the $500 million they raised. They are now listed. So the issue now, what will now sustain the price is performance, is your bottom line and your earnings as well. So if your earnings, on the long run, do not match your price, automatically investors will start dumping their shares. But as we speak, I sincerely believe the price will still move up, because the quantity, the number of shares is like Nestle. Nestle is below, say, 800 million capitalized, number of shares, outstanding shares, about 790, or about close to 800 million shares. But you see, it's trading, it came down to about 980, as we speak, about 1,185 naira, within that period, because I don't think you can see somebody with 10,000 units of Nestle, with you, because it's and even with that 800 million, Nestle Netherlands is holding about 70% of the share. So you find out that just a little portion of it is available in the system. And that's why you find out that it's not easily available in most cases. But what I'm just trying to point out here is that Seplat performance or earnings will tell us the direction of the price as time goes on. But I still feel that for now, people will still be, that kind of excitement to say, what is really happening in this company. That curiosity will drive people to want to go into the company and say, okay, let me even take advantage, let me buy. But for now, maybe it will be seen as if it's very low, because it's like a fresh wine now that is sweet as it were, because people have not really known that. So by the time they now go in and the results are coming up and it's not matching with the price, automatically we'll start seeing the dumping of the shares.
Right. Generally speaking, how would you say the market has really performed for the first quarter? We are in the second quarter. Would you say that the market has really done well?
Well, if you look at if you go into the detailed analysis of first as January, February, and March this year, January we have about negative or 2.05. February we have about 2.50. That was the worst month. Then March we have about 1.73 negative. All this, which give us about 6.25%. 6.83%. For the first quarter. But so far in the month of April, as we speak, we have had about 0.62% plus, which gives us a total net deficit of about 5.83% down. That is to say, negative. Then if you now want to do a year-on-year assessment compared with last year, as I did last year, we are about almost 20%, margin. So far, this year had not really, and if you compare the performance of the market with its peers, we are really far behind so far. We are really far behind. And there are a lot of reasons that is adduced. January, it was about to experience some boom before the policy of government, some assault, all those things came up, which drew us to where we are as we speak.
All right. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Mr. Abel, for sharing your thoughts with us on capital markets today.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Well, it's in that note that we draw the curtain on this week's edition of the program. Thank you very much for staying tuned. We hope to see you again, same time next week. And coming up next is Dateline Abuja. And on our terrestrial broadcast, we have entertainment news. Do stay tuned.